So hey guys, and welcome back to Born Traveller, and welcome to Burgas in Bulgaria. Okay, let's get started. So I'm actually in a district away from Burgas itself. Burgas is over there in the distance. This is Sarajevo, and it's a beautiful beach town that's right opposite the airport, and I really recommend if you come here, stop here in this district rather than stopping in Burgas. So let's talk about Burgas itself. Burgas is a port town, but also there are beaches right along the coast here. This is the Black Sea, and if you go all the way across there, you'll hit Batumi in Georgia. If you go north, you'll hit Odessa and Crimea, and to the south is Istanbul. So for Bulgaria, this is a very important port town, and also you can see in the front there is actually a marina with lots of boats and stuff, which I'll show you some footage later. So this is my budget nomad's guide to living in Burgas, how much it costs, etc. So the first thing we need to talk about is accommodation, and the great thing here is in Burgas and Sarajevo specifically is there's lots of apartments that are very cheap to rent, especially like now out of season. This is December and you can still see it's cold but it's sunny. Most days it's sunny here. It gets around 300 days a year sunshine. So as you can see, there's actually beachfront apartments. Obviously these would be more expensive, but you could still pick this up for around €1,000 per month. Obviously it's quite expensive for a budget nomad, but if you go 2 or 3 rows back, you can pick somewhere up out of season for around €100 a week. And that would be my recommendation. Pick up an Airbnb here in Sarajevo rather than Burgas itself. There is a couple of hostels in Burgas city itself. They're around €10 a night, so they're pretty average, pretty standard for Europe in this part of the world. So here in Bulgaria, you'll find these kind of places. They're everywhere. Little eateries, they do like pizzas and stuff like that, and you can get a coffee. A lot of times they're actually outdoor, but they're very reasonable. You can get a pizza and a coffee for around $2. So if you need a cheap breakfast, these are the kind of places to go. As you can see, right next to the beach in the summertime, there's lots of different stores. There's a pancake place here. There's also a burger stand here where you can get burgers, fish and chips, all different types of foods, but as you can see, in the winter they're closed. If you want to save money actually, and you can sit outside when it's warm, you can buy a coffee from anywhere. They have these machines everywhere in Burgas. They're very cheap. They're like 50 cents per coffee. There is an absolute plethora of restaurants that you can go to. They have lots of Bulgarian food and obviously Italian food. Very delicious, very tasty. If you do decide to stop here in Sarajevo, I would recommend this coffee shop here, and there's also one on the other side. Both of them have free Wi-Fi, and the coffee's around $2. It's basically 4 lev, which is around €2, so it's not too bad. So in terms of things to see and do, obviously you can tell it's a beach town, and obviously in the summer you could sunbathe here. The weather gets to around 30 degrees, it doesn't get actually too hot, and it's not humid like it is in Batumi. This place is very, very nice in the summer, but it does get quite busy, so this whole beach will be quite packed out, believe it or not. All the beaches are black, pretty much. Quite a nice flat beach though. Looks like in the summertime that's an open bar. Obviously it's all been boarded up for the season. I assume this is the same. There's a medical centre here, which is quite interesting. One of the great things here is there is actually a cycle path that goes all the way from here right to the city in Burgas. So if you hire a bike for the week, you can cycle. It's about 8 kilometres, so it's about half an hour to 45-minute ride, but it is flat the whole way and it's quite nice. On the way you could stop off and you can see the marina, which I'll show you now. And then from there you can obviously go into Burgas itself and explore the town. There are museums, but they're only open in the summer. Most of the museums close around November and they don't reopen again until around February or March time. So I'm down at the airport and this is the museum. It's fantastic. That's a MiG-21. You can actually sit in it when the days are good. Obviously I think they've closed it now, but when I was here in November the canopy was open. You could actually go around it. I think it's actually a public holiday today, so I think everything's closed anyway. Normally that would be open, yeah. So the museum's closed because it's a public holiday today, but most of the time it's open. So when it comes to food shopping in Bulgaria, this is the place to go, Billa. Billa is one of the most common stores you're going to see. There is also Lidl, but they're less common, but they are very cheap actually, and you can get really, really good products. But billet is the one I tend to use because they're everywhere. You have a pretty good selection of European foods. You can get pasta, pizza, or local Bulgarian foods. Meats are pretty good, although beef seems to be quite rare in billet, but you can get it in Lidl. In terms of fruit and vegetables, they normally are separate shops, and I recommend going to these because they're really good value and they tend to be fresher than, say, the supermarkets. Supermarkets tend to be not as fresh and not as good value, really. In terms of money, there are ATMs everywhere. I've been charged around €4 per transaction, but obviously it depends on your bank, depends on the currency you're exchanging. Just remember, if it says to convert it dynamic currency transfer, never do that. Don't convert it to your own currency. Just say no conversion. Do it in the local currency. I'll save you a fortune. If you press yes, it'll probably cost you about €30. So even though there are ATMs, if you've got cash, don't be afraid to change it. Like the Balkans, the exchange rates here are very, very good. They don't rip tourists off. You actually get the same exchange rate as you would on xe.com, so it's really reasonable.
So when it comes to internet, I would recommend getting Yetel. For around $13 you get 40 gigabytes worth of data for 30 days. And that will see you through, and also there's A1 as well.
So when it comes to health and medicine, there are pharmacies everywhere, and actually a lot of them say pharmacies, so you can't get it wrong. It's in English. One thing I will say is you are now in the European Union compared to my previous videos were in Albania, so restrictions are quite heavy on prescription drugs. You're gonna have to go. So if you want amoxicillin or any kind of antibiotics, you're going to have to go to a doctor and get a prescription. In terms of cost, I think it's pretty reasonable compared to the European Union. Most medicines seem to be about 50 or 60% cheaper than say my home country. So public transport from Sarajevo to Burgas is really good. You want the bus 15, you can catch it from here. It costs around 75 cents and it runs every half an hour to 15 minutes depending on the season. Very, very good value, and the buses are very clean and very organised, and it's a fantastic way to get around the city. Just use the buses. You can use Google Maps, and the maps will tell you which bus to catch. There are maps everywhere as well. So yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. This is bus 15, and you can catch that to and from the airport and also to Sarajevo. So if you want to get from the airport, the bus runs every half an hour right to the city centre. Even though I've not done it myself, one of the things you can do here, pretty cheap in Burgas, you can rent a car. It seems very easy to rent a car. Prices start from around €15, go up to about 35, so it depends on the size of the car, time of year, how many they've got, I guess. But the cars look pretty good, and obviously you can take so if you're here in Burgas and you're not going, and you're only going, say, for Sofia, you can hire a car for a day and take a day trip to Sunny Beach and Varna for the day. So the place is closed obviously, but it looks like these are the kind of cars you get. I assume that would be around 15 to 20 euros, and the bigger car would be 35. That's a hybrid, so obviously it's going to save you a lot on fuel. But yeah, they seem in pretty good condition. I don't know like the terms and conditions or anything, because obviously I didn't do it myself. I'm just pointing out what you can do.
Okay guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification button, and I'll see you next time.